As a postscript, I did want to add, I've already mentioned this on the other side, but that doesn't indicate that we used all the structural overkill here as well. So all of the walls, everywhere, an outside wall and an inside wall is secured by massive steel instructed casing, and all into the footings and linking it to these huge support beams, which all goes along the same right across there, and that beam is like that up above. That's why it's corbelled out, and it came across. This is not a support wall, but it has a back and a front. It has a back and a front to that, so it goes right through the wall, all steel reinforced, and all going along the floor over to this massive beam, massive pillar, and that comes along and goes right to there, and then from there it poised on this pillar and out under the ceiling to the other one over there. This is very heavy, and it's supported extra because it supports the roof at the point where the two angles, you have an angle like that and an angle going the other way. So it's important for that, in my mind, to be heavily overbuilt. So there we are. So instead of having one big set of windows, which is what Beth would have liked, it couldn't just be supported on nothing. So that's my insistence on having that. The Filipinos, they will tend to underbuild. Now, when I was talking about this before, I mentioned someone thought, they assumed that we hadn't organized this very well, and we had done no research. It's really not true that we didn't do any research. I had a contracting business in the UK, and it had a measure of success. I was in charge of that. You don't need to have a license to do that like California. When I looked at California, I didn't like in the examination for a contracting license in California, it seemed to me that the main emphasis on the license was not to find out how construction wise you were. It was to find out what you need to do if you don't get paid. Wrong emphasis for me. So I had my experience of contracting in the UK. So when I came out here and we went into construction, I was the contractor. Beth, or more accurately, face to face with the workers, because of the language difference, that she would talk to everybody, and she turned out to be extremely talented. I'm full of admiration for that lady. Incredible. See, so we went into it, and stuff that I had seen on government contracted work, where they had laid all footings and steel reinforced box sections into the ground, I said, that's for us. And so both of these buildings are actually reinforced, all box sections. This box section here, look, going up into the beam above, which is supported there, goes along to that one, it comes down, and all of them are tied in these rectangular and sometimes square structures, and they're all tied in with the reinforcement of steel rebar, reinforcing bar. So I wanted to make that clear there because it's a very important point. We bought all of the materials ourselves. Why is that important? Because when you are talking to a contractor here, you'll notice that when you start off, they give you absolutely their top price, especially if they know that you're a foreigner. I'm afraid that's a reality. So Beth got in touch with a few pool builders, swimming pool builders, all doing, I'm sure, very, very good work. Now, for the smaller pool out the back of the house, we were quoted, first off, 9 million pesos. 9 million pesos. Hold on to that figure. When we said, it's far too much for us, we're not ready to spend that, and we did the no, too much, all of that, it went down. I won't bore you with the increments or decrements that it went down by, but eventually the quote became, I believe, 4 million. Now look at the difference between the first quote of 9 million to 4 million. Now, if someone has given you a quote of 9 million, it doesn't matter what they are, dollars, pounds, Aussie dollars, Canadian dollars, aspidestras, carrots, potatoes. 9 million is a lot of anything. And when that goes down to below half, you have to ask, where are they getting that money from? And here's the key, I think, and that is the quality of the materials. So, if you were a contractor and you've quoted someone 9 million, let's say that that was the real figure, that's really what you had in mind for being quoted on. If that was real, how are you going to get that job at a reduced rate that you can still do the work at and yet not lose money, to have your workers employed, bringing money, putting food on the table for the families, and still bringing you a reward for your efforts at contracting? The first thing to do is reduce, well, one way to do it is to reduce the workforce. The second is to get it done faster. If you normally take 3 weeks, now you got to do that job in 2. The other way to cream money off the top of the cake is to get cheaper materials. So if you are normally used to putting reinforcing bar on both sides of the wall, now you put it on one side of the wall. If you used to use 12 millimeter reinforcing bar, now you use 9 millimeter. Can you see where that happens? If you use the quality cement may be as much as 10 pesos a bag cheaper. You use the cheaper. See, so you can cream it off, and by cheating perhaps some, depending on the integrity of the company, you're going to do a lesser job, but not in the quality of the finish, because when you're walking away, the customer is looking at the finish. The quality of it may take a while to be able to reveal itself, as we have seen on some government jobs when they put up massive looking pillars, but inside there's cut down on 50% on the reinforcing bar, which is expensive. So, just wanted to add that as a comment. We have made sure that we are in charge of buying the materials, because obviously if a contractor is cheating a little on the materials, you'll never know. Don't forget to